What is happening, NJ Gaming Dude here, and I'm going to be talking about what I'm going to be watching in the Winter 2024 anime season. It doesn't look like it's actually particularly exciting generally, and I think I went through pretty much the entire list just to be like, okay, how many isekais could there possibly be on this list? Luckily, there weren't that many, 7 in total, but it's, that's still, I feel like that's still 7 too many. Maybe 1 or 2 max on the list would have been nice, but it's good to see that at least we're not being chucked up a ton of inferior garbage in the form of like isekai pretty much. But let's just kind of jump into what I'm going to be watching this season. And of course, I'm going to timestamp and use the provide links to my anime list for each of the shows. So just check them out in the description below. But let's just kind of jump into it. First is Solo Leveling. This one I didn't really have much of an interest in, but because it's been hyped up so much, I thought, you know what? I'm going to give into the hype for once. Instead of pushing things away because people are like, this will be great or this will be good. Even then, I don't think there really is much hype in it anyways, because I don't hear people talking about it. But then again, it might just be, sort of my circle or like the corner of the internet that I'm in, that it just isn't seen as highly or, being as appreciated as much. Who knows? Like, it's really hard to tell, to be honest, for the most part. But yeah. So the synopsis goes like this. 10 years ago, the gate appeared and connected the real world to a realm of magic and monsters. To combat vile beasts, ordinary people with superhuman powers become known as hunters. And then we've got 20-year-old Sun Jing-woo, who is a hunter and is known as the world's weakest. As a measly E rank, he still tries to hunt monsters regardless of his low rank, just to get pills for his mom's medical bills. Actually no, not really. Just to get to pay her medical bills, not get pills. What am I saying? See, reading is a lot harder when you have to do it in a microphone, at least not to a camera, luckily, but still, not that easy. Yep, so he's left to die and gets put into a training program. Otherwise he might face a penalty and has to kind of just go with it. Pretty much, I think, yeah, it's isekai, but the thing is that it doesn't have resurrection. So I'm hoping that it's just a tad bit more different. I don't think it was put under the themes though, was it? Because normally like isekai is put under theme of like a show. So like genres is action, adventure, fantasy, but there's no like mention of isekai on here, so it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. But let's just kind of move on to Dosuka no Garu wa Namara Menkoi. So Hokkaido girls are super adorable. I don't know if that's how I'd pronounce it, but translate it, but sure, let's go with it. It's just honestly, just looking at the art is enough for me to be like, okay, I might actually be interested in this. And it takes place in Hokkaido, which I don't remember a lot of shows taking place in that area, so it'll be interesting to actually hear the dialect and how different it is from, like, say, your standard Japanese that you would generally tend to hear in most anime. So if nothing else, it's the dialect that's actually kind of got me to be like, okay, you know what, maybe I might actually watch this, because it will feel like as if I'm just genuinely watching something in even more of a different language than it already is. But yeah, there isn't really much to say besides time to switch my brain off and just enjoy whatever it is that I'm going to be watching. This is definitely going to be like I just turn my brain off and just enjoy type of shows, so hopefully that turns out well, but again, we won't know until the show actually starts to air. Moving on from that, we have the Blue Exorcist Shimane Illuminati arc. So I think at this point, I'm surprised that Blue Exorcist even got a second season at all. So for it to be, I'm pretty sure there's a third season. Yes, it is the third season. Getting a third season, that's neat. Okay, because again, Blue Exorcist has been around for a while. It is a shonen manga from Jump. Little would people realize that, because it's been around for so bloody long. Yeah, and again, it got a second season much later than its first season, or that you would ordinarily expect. So for it to get a third, very happy with that. Is it going to be really good? I'm pretty sure it's just going to be okay to good at best, if even that. But again, you would really need to start changing things up to either really be significantly more gripping, because when shows tend to reach, especially with shonen shows that are leaning into sort of the battle shonen, like how Blue Exorcist is, you kind of need to do what Bungo Stray Dogs did and really start gripping, like starting to do more intense fights that kind of lean into the whole idea of the enemy is that much stronger. You know, the stakes are actually starting to raise, albeit slowly, but enough to get you in on wanting to watch it, but secondly to then keep you hooked on episode to episode. Oh, what's gonna happen next? Oh, what's gonna happen next? Even if you have, or like, if you've obviously read the source material, you'll know what's gonna happen. But if you haven't, that's the kind of people you want to try and keep in. And you can try and like impress the source readers already, but sometimes that doesn't really work that well, because while you do something really good for the source in one episode and then you completely devalue the source in then, you know, the very next episode, you are going to start pissing people off very easily. So I suppose it just depends on how the adaptation is also run, but again, we won't know until it happens because I haven't actually read the source material, so we're just going to go off of that. Moving on from that though, something that I'm very surprised to see, Urasei Yatsura second season. So I knew it was going to be announced, I just didn't know when we would actually see that second season. So this was a remake, retelling, redoing of Urasei Yatsura, which is such an old series, because the first anime adaptation was in the early 1980s. 1982 or 1983, something like that. And now we have it returned in 2022 for the fall season. And now in the 2024 winter season, we get a second season of the show. I'm actually very excited to see more of Lum, the other, like all the other characters, and just the madness that's going to follow, because of course it does kind of like lend itself well to its art style even now. The sort of bubbliness of it, which is going to very much it's going to contrast pretty heavily with the show that I'm going to be talking about, that I've almost finished watching, about its bubbliness. But yeah, no, look forward to that video later on. It's going to be interesting to see, like, I say it's going to be interesting to see. We know how it's going to turn out. I'm pretty sure it's going to turn out well, this second season, knowing that the content of like the original manga didn't, you know, it's aged as well as it could, and that, you know, it's still entertaining. That's all it is. It's still entertaining even after 30, at this point 40 years. Hold on, give me a sec. 80, yeah. So yeah, 82 to 22, yeah, that's 40 years. So even 40 years later, it's still good. It's still good to watch. It's still entertaining, as long as you like your slice of life shows that have not a unique selling point. It's still a fun watch regardless of that. So it'll be good to see how the adventure, the slice of life, days of our times, whatever you want to call it, story of these characters are going to unfold ultimately. I feel like I just kind of had like a blue screen moment trying to describe like that this is just a slice of life with aliens type of thing, you know, put together. But yeah, let's just kind of jump on to Shaman King Flowers, which is interesting because this is a side story to the original Shaman King, which was redone after the original Shaman King anime adaptation that was given an original ending because reasons. So they did in fact then do a redo of the original Shaman King, but stick closer to the source material. And it was in the same year as Urasei Yatsura, funnily enough. So now we have Flowers, which actually follows Hana, which is actually yours and Anna's son. I didn't actually know that. I only just found that out now after reading the synopsis. So it's that tells me that it's going to be more Shaman King. But the question is, what are the spirits going to be like? Are the spirits going to have different relationships from their past that allow them to continue to exist? Again, what are the types of mediums that we're going to see? How is it going to affect the plot? What is the plot? Is it still going to be like a sort of a battle shonen to an extent? Is it going to be more slice of life? I have no clue what on earth I am going to expect from this. It'll be interesting to see what we get from this, but it's really just a matter of time before we kind of, it starts, we watch, and kind of just enjoy what is going to be presented to us. Again, I haven't actually read the source material, so it'll be interesting to see, again, what on earth this is going to be. We can only really guess, unless you actually read the source material, in which case, yeah, you kind of ruined the fun out of what I was trying to say, but yeah, it is what it is, you know what I mean? Moving on from that, though, so that was like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows. We still are going to be, or at least I am still going to be watching Frieren, because, yeah, it's a 2 curse series. At the moment, like, the first, it's doing like a really weird number of episodes. I think it's like 26, I want to say. 28. That's a weird number of episodes, to have for any series. But I think it's doing 26 episodes. 28 episodes. We're 16 episodes in at the moment. So episode 17, I think, drops next week. Possibly. I can't remember. And then the show will take a break for about a week and then come back the following year. But, yeah. Frieren. I am not going to talk about it because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on what I think about it in... Actually, you know what? Yeah, in the end of season wrap-up. Not for this season, but for the next season, because it actually is carrying over. So that'll be real funny to talk about. It'll be alongside these other shows that I'm only guessing is going to be good. But in addition to Frieren, of course, there's also going to be One Piece as well. Actually, you know what? Let me just chuck that up as well. Why the hell not, right? Like, what's the worst that could honestly happen? So yeah, One Piece. That is also continuing to go. So I don't think I have anything to say. That totals about, for seasonal shows this time around, that's totaling at 7 compared to the 8 shows that I'm watching this season. But it's been fun to kind of like, sit down, watch these shows. Hopefully, One Piece is now going to be going from the current arc, which is Wano Kuni. There's going to be a little bit of an interlude, and then that interlude is then going to go into the Egghead Island arc, which is, I think, where the manga is currently at. So, in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows. That's what I'm going to be watching this season. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are going to be watching, if anything at all, during this coming sort of season of anime that's going to be airing. Air them all out in the comments below, and like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to get my videos out to more people, and hopefully more anime fans who are still watching anime even now at this point, because I feel like as more time passes by, I actively try to avoid the popular stuff for stuff that's more underground, because the stuff that's deemed popular is heightened to an extent where it cannot possibly be able to meet the expectation that you might have of it, and on top of that, they may become more disappointing than anything else. I don't know, this is just the thoughts of like an aged fan of anime who's been watching it for a long ass amount of time at this point. You can only really watch so many things. I can only keep telling people, look, you gotta watch something like Death Parade, and then you'll be able to, like, appreciate just how good the series is or something like that. But, it is what it is. So, share everything in the comments below. Like the video, of course, subscribe. I am also aiming for 100 subs by the end of the year. The year is closing up pretty quickly. So, much appreciation, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Well, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, pretty much.